Hey everybody, it's KR0. So there's a certain thing going on. I just recently watched a video from the completionist. I'm going to leave the description. Well, I'm going to leave the link in the description box below of this video. But it was a video known as, well, give me a second because I got to bring it back up again. I did a whole video, let's just be honest. I did a whole video and I realized after the fact that my microphone was not on. It happens a little bit. So in case you guys are actually out there starting your whole YouTube experience, YouTube channel and all that stuff, and you're making your own videos, double check to make sure that your microphone settings are perfectly on track. Just a clear indication. But regardless, I was watching this video by the completionist called "Companies Don't Want You Playing Classic Games." All right, I'm gonna show it on the screen as of now, right here. Oh well, right here, as you can see, because well, anyways, but it's a very important video. I definitely think you guys should check it out. Basically, it's just saying how, like, you know, right now, like recently, Gerard and his team at the completionist had to pretty much get all the catalog of games from, I believe, the Wii U, you know, because of the fact that the Nintendo eShop, at least Wii version of the eShop, and Wii U version of the eShop, and Game and DS and 3DS version of the game shop is closing. Now we have Nintendo eShop on the Switch, so that's it. But they are talking about how, like, a whole bunch of classic games are now going extinct, basically. Yeah, you can get them at, like, your local reseller, you know, like a GameStop. Well, maybe not GameStop, but like in my town, we have this place called Zero Gravity Games. You can get old games, old game systems, or hardware that can play old school video games and all that stuff. But we're having a big issue with, you know, just allowing easier access to these games, because, you know, buying retro games is like an expensive hobby at the moment. Like, it's expensive. Like, trying to get our old school retro game, especially in Nintendo stuff, that still costs you plenty of ducats, especially if it's a rare game. Like, do you know how bad I want to get a copy of Breath of Fire 3? Bruh. It's just $80. I mean, yeah, $80 doesn't sound like it's that expensive when you make a decent amount of money, but when you actually are focused on your responsibilities, $80 is a lot. Getting an old school game system costs you a pretty penny, like at least about $200. You know, getting a game system these days, it still costs about $600, but still, you're gonna get new games as it goes. It's still $60. Games are getting expensive. Let's just be honest, but still, but retro games are even more expensive. Like, you know how hot I remember back in the day when you would get, like, when we have used games at GameStop. When I worked at GameStop, you know, you get a few games that, you know, any game that recently came out was like, you know, they would take off about $5, right? But any game that had been out for a couple of years and, you know, just didn't have that many people buying it, you know, somebody might buy it after, like, getting introduced to that particular franchise. It would probably go down in price as the years would go on, 34, maybe $15. And of course, when it comes to, like, any of the sports games, since they come out yearly, the second those come out, the next the old game becomes like, what, $1.99. Just saying. However, no, but we need to figure out a way to make it more accessible to play these older games without it being emulation, because we all know ROMs and emulators are technically illegal, which sucks. Unless it's like that particular company's brand of emulation of their own software, aka Nintendo having the whole Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance, all that stuff on the Switch. Those emulation software, or like PlayStation 1 classics, PlayStation 2 classics, PlayStation, being able to stream it on your PS4 or PS5. Regardless, you got those, and you also got ports that come to different platforms and all that stuff. But they're ports. Ports are technically not. Well, I'm gonna switch it back here. But the ports are technically not the original game. Like, for instance, I played Final Fantasy IV, which is one of my favorite Final Fantasies, by the way. 4 is my favorite classic, like Super Nintendo era Final Fantasy. I mean, I know a lot of people like 3, aka 6, but I know a lot of people like 6 more so. But I loved 4. I love Cecil. And that whole story, it was beautiful. But I remember when Final Fantasy IV had a 3D remake on the Nintendo DS or 3DS. I think it was DS. And they had a summon just for that particular game called White, which is a summon that Rydia could bring out that was that when summoned, it acted similar to what was it? Acted similar to the Aeons in Final Fantasy X. Okay, you call it, it'd be there, and it'd be able to attack and do certain moves. You can make it more powerful through mini games and all that stuff. However, you can't do it anymore in the PC port. It was that whole everything associated with White has been deleted, gone, no longer that. And I actually kind of hate the fact that that was the case, because I remember playing Final Fantasy IV, the 3D remake on this channel a year ago. I still need to finish that, but at the same time, it's like, why should I? Because it doesn't have everything I want in it. Like, I want to be able to play as White. I want to be able to do that. So, in this video, the association, the video game historians, basically. That's what I'm going to call them, because I know I just watched the video, and I paid very close attention to it, but at the same time, I wasn't paying attention to names at that exact moment. I had a few other things popping up every once in a while in the background. But they made a good point. We should make a video game library. Why don't we have a video game library? A library just for video games where we can easily like check them out for a little bit, play these games. I mean, it'll be perfect for the next generation. In order for us to keep up this video game history, I mean, before long, young kids won't know what the joys of playing like the original Donkey Kong. They're just gonna believe Donkey Kong is just from the Super Mario Brothers movie. Or what about Pong? Or what about Pac-Man? Well, Pac-Man keeps coming back every once in a while, but you get what I'm saying. And my thought process, and they're still trying to figure out ways to like kind of, hopefully convince these game companies, these entertainment companies. Well, these game companies who believe in games as being entertainment, and they want to make a money from it. It's a business after all. I get it. You want to be able to bring these back out. You know how retro games are very Because I mean, come on, we got Super Mario RPG, which is something, you know, Gerard of the completionist says in this very video that I was watching. Yeah, we could get all these ports and all that stuff, but they're never going to be the same as the originals. So, you know, my thought process was this: 20 years. 20 years. If a game becomes 20 years old, okay, after it's like, I guess 21 years old. Let's give it an extra year. How about you have that original game? And I'm talking about the original version of the game, not the port. Be accessible in the library, in a video game library. You know, you just have to get people's information, and they can, you know, stream. Like, we have the ability to stream video games. Allow them to check it out and stream it, like in a library. Stream it onto a PC. Play it for a little bit. They got about what? Usually, a library allows you to check out books for what, a couple of days or so, and then if they haven't returned it in a certain time, if they haven't, like, you know, if they still want to keep playing it afterwards, you know, just have it so that, hey, you got to pay a fee in order to play it a little bit more. And those fees goes to all, just is separate between the companies. I don't know. That may actually work. Who knows? Is, you know, have it be like a non-profit library, video game library system. I don't know. We should, you know, we should all collaborate and figure out how we can make this work and how we can sell this to these video game companies so we can get these old school games back. I mean, be able to play it for even the next generation, you know. Like, I've been playing through Ninja Gaiden, right? Ninja Gaiden Sigma, which I might stream later on tonight, you know, of the day I'm recording this video. Because this is probably going to come out tomorrow, Saturday, you know. But still, why don't I've been playing Ninja Gaiden Sigma, and there was a port, but still. And I realized one particular fact: Ninja Gaiden technically, like, you know how people always call newer games out there a Dark Souls-esque game, or you know, if a game is a hard version of that particular genre, they call it, oh yeah, this is the Dark Souls of this particular genre. Like, Shin Megami Tensei is the Dark Souls of RPGs. Although technically Shin Megami Tensei has been out longer than Dark Souls or even Demon Souls, so technically you could say Dark Souls is a... One would say that Dark Souls is the Ninja Gaiden, well, Shin Megami Tensei of action games. But I was gonna say something else too. Like, Ninja Gaiden is basically did it before Dark Souls. I mean, come on, getting to the end of a chapter in Ninja Gaiden, chapter 1. If y'all remember that game, y'all know how hard that shit was. Yes, I cursed. Who gives a crap? It was hard. It was hard. I can't tell you how hard it was without saying a curse word when it comes to it. It was that hard. Like, the fact that I actually beat that first chapter for the first time ever in my entire life. Like, I remember playing the original Xbox game, and that's where I stopped at the game. Right there. But, you know, we got all these games that had so many cool features back then, and after they get ported, those features are either non-existent or erased or dumbed down considerably. We should be able to have these kids play these games like they used to. It's literally not gonna stop people from buying new video games that you're gonna come out with, or new versions of ports of those video games. Look at Sonic Origins. I could go back and play the Sonic Gems collection. You know, find a PS2 version of the Sonic Gems collection and play through all that. But you know what Sonic Origins has that Sonic Gems collection doesn't? That no other Sonic collection has had up until this point? Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Yeah, we could play Sonic 3. We could play Sonic and Knuckles, but we can never play Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Because remember, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is technically, like, even though Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic and Knuckles are two separate games, or two separate cartridges and all that stuff, and people think they're two separate games, they're actually one game. The reason why Sonic and Knuckles had the lock-on feature, why it even was a thing in the first place, was because of the fact that Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles were technically supposed to be one full game. But they ran out of time. If I remember correctly, they ran out of time to produce the full game. So they took one half and brought it out as Sonic 3. They took the second half and made it Sonic and Knuckles. And they seem like two separate games, but if you put them together, oh my god, it was a bigger game. And you can unlock what is known as Hyper Sonic, Hyper Knuckles. And now, in Sonic Origins, you can now unlock Hyper Tails. And in Sonic Origins Plus, Hyper Amy. Oh my god. But anyways, regardless, people are still willing to buy these new games or new ports of old games if you add in certain things that blow your mind. Okay, you can never play as Amy through any of the old games, and you can play as Amy now. Oh my god! You can never play Knuckles in Sonic the Hedgehog 1 because it wouldn't let you. Like, you could play him in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but for some reason, anytime you put Sonic the Hedgehog 1 on top of Sonic and Knuckles, you can never play Knuckles in that game. You couldn't play as Tails in Sonic 1. You can play as Sonic. Play him in Sonic 1 now. In Origins Plus, if I remember correctly, or even the original Origins. You can even have Knuckles and Tails in Sonic CD. Isn't that great? Great! So, we can figure this out. And hopefully we can. So, I can't remember everything I said in the last video. But I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna worry about what I've said now. I think I've said the meat of it. But like I said, I'm going to leave the link to this video because I really think you guys should check it out. If you're a gamer, and especially if you're a gamer as old as I am, I'm 37 years old, people. If you're as old as I am, or you're a youngin', I'm sorry for saying youngin'. If you're younger than me and you actually enjoy retro games, I mean, come on. Thanks to the speedrunning community, who doesn't like retro games? Have you seen these speedruns of old games? I mean, come on, look at Super Metroid. We have to mod Super Metroid to make it harder for some of these speedrunners in order to give them a challenge because they've unlocked everything on how to play through that game. Anyways, what's that? I'm going to be out. I'm out. I'm done. I'm going to finish editing this video and then, hey, you guys have a great day, okay? I will see you guys next time, and probably a little bit later on tonight. Well, okay, not later on tonight as we are talking, because this video is going out Saturday, but probably going to end up streaming tonight of the recording of the video, aka Friday. So, last night for you guys. All right, peace out.